Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never to sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity,
yeah, all right, welcome on, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Lion Villain Report, and I am your host, Russell Wayne, right here, and we are bringing you a live. It is August the 19th. It's Monday. It's OverReaction Monday here at the Villain Squad, where we get to talk about a 24-23 win by your Detroit Lions. And yeah, it's Overreaction Monday. Let's do this right here. We're broadcasting live right now in the Villain Squad. The Lions Villain Squad, thank you to the 52,000 plus people that are on that page, liking and sharing that content, getting involved and joining the conversation. And the conversation is about this Detroit Lions team getting ready to finish up the preseason. Also, we are broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions News Podcast. Joe Chapp, the boys, everybody over there from Detroit Lions News Podcast, thank you very much for allowing us to be part of your platform. And also, YouTube pages, JC Sports, and the Lions Villain Squad YouTube page. Head on over there, subscribe to that stuff. We're going to be putting out football content all season long, 365 days a year. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. And the NFL, the huddle on Roku, the sports network. That's that's got Bill the Packer fan, Mike the Bear fan. We're part of a conglomerate of NFC North people, maybe even getting a little bit of a trash talking type of thing on there. And Ken and Ken coming up at 11 o'clock right there. So, hey, hello, everybody. Let's get into these comments right here. Let's just get to it. We got a lot of them in here so far because we're all happy because we're on the juice coming off of a win. Good morning to Dwayne. Hello, Dwayne. Hello. Nice to see that you actually made it out before I even started the countdown. So kudos to you, Dwayne, for being the first one in there. It's kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, Dwayne shows up and does 250 of those jugs machines right there before he even pops on here. He gets ready. He gets ready for the conversation. And he's probably more ready than you are. There you go. Let's go, Lions. Lions Pride NFC North Division title. You like that? You like that? Right there. Davey, one Pride. It takes more. It takes more likes. The people, all these people that are watching right here, smash that like button. You like football content? Let's hit it. Let's hit it. Hit them like buttons right there if we're liking this. Right here. Dwayne, it's an awesome to beat the champs. It's a preseason or regular season 2-0 right there. Good morning. It's a great day to be a Lions fan. Good morning, Fred Peterson. That's our Patreon right there. You can go to our Patreon. You support this page right here by hitting up that Patreon. Thank you, Fred, for being our Patreon. Broski, he's got his coffee out there. I'm not sure what that means. I think that's his coffee or his bear way of saying good morning. I don't know. What do bears say? They bear down or whatever. Chance, what's up? What's up, brother? What's up, Paul Jones? What's up, Scott Harrison? Man, we got them all in here right here. Okay, is this right here? Good morning, Russ. There's a Frank Broski account out there. That's who made that first post in the chat. Apparently, I have fans. Are you telling me that there's Broski burner accounts out there? That is awesome. You know, I'm a huge wrestling fan, Broski, and the idea of having, heels and face. You're like the heel of this show, where I would go on a bear show and I would be the heel. Right. And I love this type of back and forth type of stuff because I know what we do. I know what we do. And that's why we call this day every day. Like every time that we do this, Mike's show is going to be tonight too. Overreaction Monday. What do we want to overreact about on here? The Lions with a win. And I've been on here so many times to tell you that I'm not going to get too hot. I'm not going to get too low on a win or a loss in preseason. And I'll tell you what, I got a hot take on this 24-23 win by the Detroit Lions. I actually thought it was more encouraging to me to see the first half where they were losing than the second half where they did all the fancy stuff, right? And the reason that I say that is I thought it was more impressive because Andy Reid is I'm going to play my starters. That's what I believe in. He's a Super Bowl champion. So, I mean, who's going to argue against him, right? So he put his starters out there. And Dan Campbell stayed true to who he is. You ain't going to see the starters. You ain't going to see Jared Goff. You ain't going to see Sam Laporta. You ain't going to see Gibbs, Monty. You ain't going to see any of the starting offensive linemen. That's just what we are. So I am more encouraged that our twos and backups and everybody were able to hold Patrick Mahomes' offense fully loaded to 6 points, holding the 2 field goals. And, you can count mental lapses and those things, but that's Patrick Mahomes. He makes a lot of people look like that. But for our 2s and our 3s to go in there against the Kansas City Chiefs starters and to hold their own, that was very encouraging to me. Because when they put Nate Sudfeld out there, and I'm watching, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to go on here and I'm going to have to explain to Broski on Monday why we were down 35-0 in the first half. So I don't have to do that because, shoot, I mean, really, when you look at the second and third string, I got nothing but good things to say about that second and third string, holding their own against Patrick Mahomes. Now, I know that's the vanilla Patrick Mahomes, but it was like, it wasn't really that vanilla. They had a game plan, and they were doing trick plays against our second and third, running their, James, trying to get Worthy out there. I think that they're trying to prepare Worthy to have a really big season. And by the way, if you are a fantasy football person, I think that Worthy is going to be worthy of a pick wherever you can get him, because I think that just because of where he's at, he might end up being a top 15 wide receiver play in fantasy football right there is Worthy. That dude is fast. That's one of the dudes where I'm like, man, I don't know. Jameson might not be the fastest person on the field. Then again, he might be. I don't know. But we didn't get to see him. We didn't get to see how fast Jameson was because Dan Campbell decided to hold out all of his starters. Broski says, I'm with you, Russ. Preseason is meaningless. It means nothing. Just have to hope for no injuries. The starters, vanilla offense, vanilla defense, backup players might change positions, etc. But in this situation, Broski, it wasn't that way. I mean, this is just something that Andy Reid believes in with the Kansas City Chiefs. He believes in the philosophy. Now, Patrick Mahomes didn't play the entire first half, but the rest of the starters, they had them all in there the whole time. I have to really look at these. I got the PFF scores up here for the game. I can get PFF scores. I'll probably be going through all of the games in the NFC North just from a quick glance. But what was I looking for here? Oh, I'm looking for Kansas City. What I want to see is the Kansas City Chiefs on defense and all of their guys that they had played. So let's see how true they are to that. Did they play? Was Chris Jones out there? I'm looking and I don't see that. I don't think that they played Chris Jones, Curtis Jacobs. I mean, most of these guys taking the big snaps, but for the most part, it looks like all of the starting guys were out there for the first half when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. And really, you're talking about vanilla stuff, but when you're talking about they're doing trick plays, they did a reverse with Worthy in the game. It's like they were trying to get this kid going. I could tell that Andy Reid had a game plan to try to get this kid going. And the Lions played well. I mean, in that situation. Now, in the second half, they had to come back and win. And I understand that, but that means a lot less to me because after the first half was over, it was like anybody that was in that first half that they were trying to get going, they took them out, and then Kansas City in the second half did what we do, which is, you're going up against some drywallers and some guys that may be driving a taxi cab in a couple weeks. And no offense to taxi cab people or anything, but some of these guys go in and they're camp bodies. They're going to make their money for their family. Being on that practice squad, I mean that can pay like 100 G's. So some of those guys are just warming that spot up, and that's what Hendon Hooker went up against. So I love the fact that Hendon Hooker had a much better game. I mean, outside of that first pass that he sailed, he calmed down. Went 12 for 15, even with that sailed first pass. So Hendon Hooker did what he was supposed to do against lesser competition. He just moved the ball down the field. Isaiah Williams, are you kidding me? This dude is making a mark. I mean, for those that have been questioning the depth at wide receiver, and Dan Campbell's like, hey, man, we need somebody to step up. step up Isaiah Williams did. I think that this guy may be able to jump Raymond on the depth chart. I mean, he looks like an explosive guy. When he was against the twos, or when he was against the Kansas City ones, he looked like he belonged. I mean, he was making plays against the defense. And when it got to the second half, I mean, he looked like a man amongst the boys. And that's what you want your high-end guys to do, because you don't want them to look normal against lesser competition. You want them to dominate. And that's what Isaiah Williams did. And then Steve, look at you, Steve. Where'd he go? Oh, it jumped in. I thought I saw Steve in here. No, that was Brent. I can't read. Vaki. Bates did good. Sione Vaki. This kid is a special athlete that is really just kind of learning the game of football. So Vaki, he did play a couple of games at running back when he was at Utah, but he was a safety. I mean, this kid is learning the position. And I mean, if he would have started the season at Utah at running back, I think that he would have probably been one of the top running backs taken off of the board, because from what Brad Holmes was saying and Dan Campbell was, this kid was so football smart that they gave him some stuff at the senior day, or not the senior day, but the Senior Bowl to do and to figure out like a playbook or something. And when he came back in for the interview, he memorized everything from the book. So he's like, as a football player, Vaki came in. That was the thing that stood out to Holmes and Dan Campbell, was that he retained information really, really fast. You're really raw as a football player, right? You're a safety, and they're bringing you into the NFL, and you're going to be a running back now. Now, his little bit of experience at Utah as a running back, that's fine and everything. But for Brad Holmes to see where this guy's talent could help us and you can look at him, he's already going to make the team as a special teams player. And now he's starting to add these new dimensions. He might even be able to add, from what we've just seen, he might be able to add some value on the ground too. So I believe that Vaki's going to definitely be a lock to make this team, even as a core team special teams player. And by the end of the year, I think that you're going to see this guy repping and doing some defensive stuff and actually playing safety once they teach him how to play running back, to where he's going to back up three positions. That's crazy. A starting special teams guy and a guy that can back up and be the third, fourth running back, or maybe even be the fourth, fifth safety option in a pinch. That's crazy. Sione Vaki is the best all-round draft pick when you really look at how valuable he could be. Jonathan says, what up, Russ? What's going on, Jonathan? Absolutely, bro. That's what I'm talking about. You like that? Matt Henry, good morning, sir. And the bad guy says, well, we have some players that stepped up and might say Arrowhead might be the second home field. Yeah. Overreaction Monday. Here we are. Welcome to the program. Join the conversation and feel free to throw your overreactions into the comments. And that's okay. It's the same thing that these Bear fans said last week. I'm not going to knock the Bears for blowing out the Cincinnati Bengals, for that defense stepping up and them playing well. Oh, it's just preseason. Pump the brakes, Bear fans. I'm not going to pump the brakes for the Bears. The Bears have every right to be excited, And when I say stuff like that, that means that we have every right to be excited. We have every right to be excited about the guys stepping up in there. Our second and third team defense was putting the brakes on Patrick Mahomes. We didn't even get to see our frontline guys in that game. There was no Aleem McNeil. There was no Aiden Hutchinson. There was no Levi Onwuzurike. No, the starting defensive lineman was Mekhi Wingo and Broderick Martin and Josh Paschal. And I wouldn't say that they dominated the Kansas City offense, but they were able to slow them down. They scored 2 field goals. And then they took Patrick Mahomes out and put in Wentz. And Wentz didn't do any better. Guys that you were looking for to step up, stepped up. And I'm not going to undersell that. Maybe it is an overreaction. But, you know, let's really look. We're looking at some of these defensive grades, offensive grades right here. Josh Paschal, 28 snaps. He had tackles for loss. Where's the tackle for loss? You know, tackle for loss. He had a tackle for loss in the game. Ty Summers, weak outside linebacker, had 2 tackle for losses. Ben Neiman, linebacker, just picked up 2 tackles for losses. Abraham Beauplan. Who the hell is Abraham Beauplan? Weak side linebacker. He had the best grade out of the Lions. He had 5 tackles for losses. So, yeah, leading the team. Oh, not tackles for. He had 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Okay, I'm reading that wrong. My bad. So, but tackles for losses, coverage snaps. Lawrence Strickland, the safety, was the second best player. This is a guy that can't get off the field. This is the guy that can't get off the field. Lawrence Strickland. I mean, the Lions are going to have some decisions to make. Broderick Martin had a good game. Jalen Reeves-Maven, Kendall Vildor. So the defense stepped up. And I mean, really, I expected these scores to be lower because there were some of these guys that didn't do so well. You know, because you're going up against Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Say the bad guy says, I am a little, and we didn't see Jake from State Farm. I wanted to see new QB3, thinking and hoping Fromm plays against the Steelers. I don't know that Sudfeld is better. I don't trust him. Sudfeld was better in this game than he was last week. He should thank Caden Davis for running that touchdown all the way in and giving him a stat like that and pumping up his yards a little bit. You should send him a thank you card. You know, maybe send him a fruit basket or something, because that was a pretty good run by Caden Davis. And there's another guy. It's like when I saw this game, I said, man, Donovan Peoples-Jones, you were the guy that they were thinking were going to step up in this game. You were supposed to be the guy. You know, you have NFL experience. That was your job to lose, and you might have lost it. I think that there's a possibility that Caden Davis and Isaiah Williams leapfrog Donovan Peoples-Jones on that depth chart, which might put him on the outside looking in. He's going to need to have a good week in practice, Donovan Peoples-Jones, if he's going to hold off these guys, because here's the thing. If you got Caden Davis and Isaiah Williams, and you got these young guys that are on $1.50 a year contracts, I mean, you just signed a whole bunch of really, really good players to a lot of money. So, and Isaiah Williams, if he comes in and makes an impact, and you got this guy, locked up for $1.50 through a rookie deal, it's not the worst thing in the world. Because when you're paying your wide receiver $28 million a year, you got to save money in other places. Fred, my overreaction, Bears will be the 2008 Lions? Wow, Fred, that's a hot take. I don't know if I can go there, Fred. I don't know about that. Caleb Williams, I mean, here's the thing. Like, if I'm throwing my homer hat in here. If I want to be a homer, I'll say Caleb Williams went 3 and out 2 times. Why do you think that he's so good? The thing is like you have to watch the game. And you watch him even on the incompletions. He looks like he's the kind of guy that is going to make things happen. And, he can't throw the ball and catch the ball. But that's crazy for you to think that. I think that there would have to be some implosion in order for that to happen, Fred. I don't think that kind of deal would happen unless there was some kind of implosion, a catastrophic injury bug or something like that. But this team, the way that it's built, just based off talent that Ryan Poles has put onto it, it should be way more competitive. Like I said, I'm on record to say that they are going to get their win against the Packers this year. That streak of, I don't even know, like 3,000 days or something like that they haven't beaten the Packers. That's impressive, Packer fan. The villain is impressed with that type of streak to beat any NFL team that many times in a row. And it's definitely in the heads. They got to overcome that. Paul Jones says, my biggest takeaway from yesterday is the Packers having absolutely no depth whatsoever. Can we talk about that? The Green Bay Packers, we're not supposed to overreact on preseason, right, Paul? We can't overreact unless your team scores 2 points. You scored 2 points. That means that your depth is garbage. Like, you can't do really. What happens if Jordan Love goes down? You guys really going to trot out Sean Clifford, or I don't even know who that other kid was. He had one fast move where he ran. I had a couple zippy throws, but like it is a talent drop off in Green Bay at the quarterback position. And that Denver Bronco team did whatever they wanted defensively. And even offensively, they were running through the Packers' third and fourth string defense like, those guys shouldn't be NFL players. Like, even the 2 points. I mean, there was an obvious face mask that was on that even that 2 points. I could argue that 2 points you didn't even deserve. And I wouldn't make a statement like that if the game was close because, that it is what it is. But you could argue that 2 points didn't even deserve to be there. That should have been a 15-yard penalty. You grabbed them by the face mask and drug them down. Like, for everybody else other than the Packers, that would be a face mask. So there's your 2 points that you got right there. That was a pathetic performance by the Green Bay Packers. And frankly, I was smiling from ear to ear. I love seeing them crap the bed. I mean, probably the same feeling they had about us last week when Sudfeld was out there against that Giants defense, and he looked like he didn't know how to throw the ball. Jonathan Height says the Bears look dangerous. There you go. There's some respect. Chance, Meek will be a problem. Love that I love that ad. The bad guy. 5 till holy crap, I missed that. Good morning, guys. What's up, Jason MC? I know that you are a Skull. It's nice to see Skull Nation out here representing. What do I got to say about Skull? Because I'm usually really, really hard on Skull. But I've decided to back off of my normal aggression against Skull because I wouldn't wish what has happened to Skull on anybody. Now I've been to that stadium up there in Minneapolis, and we lost that game. And it was a very impressive stadium, beautiful stadium. I love the people up in Minnesota. I'm going to those games, and I wouldn't wish your off season on anybody. I mean, you've had a player literally die, and then the injuries, the Addison and TJ Hawkinson, and yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I'll say this. JJ McCarthy becoming injured might have been a blessing in disguise for you, because now there is the unquestioned starting quarterback is now Sam Darnold, and you can figure out, what he's got. And I don't think that he's that bad. I don't think that Sam Darnold is that bad. I think that he's been in very, very bad situations. So this is a chance to resurrect your career, Sam Darnold. You can resurrect your career right here, because you will never be in another situation that's as good as this one. You got the best wide receiver in football on that team. You got the best offensive line that you've ever played for. You got Aaron Jones running the ball. So don't be surprised if the Minnesota Vikings score some points on some people, and that defense is better under Brian Flores. This Minnesota Viking team might surprise a couple people this year. I don't know if they're going to be able to surprise anybody in the North, because I think that the North may have 3 top 10 teams in the NFL. And I may be giving too much kudos to the Bears, but I'll put the Packers there. But after yesterday's performance, I don't put the Packers there if they suffer any kind of injuries. I don't believe in any of that depth. You can't get beat down like that. You got to show more heart than that. You ain't going to do that. You ain't going to do well against real players. DPJ will be gone, Fred Peterson says. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree that Isaiah Williams and Caden Davis played well enough to get DPJ off of the roster? I mean, that's a different situation when you commit money like that to a guy, right? Lose out. You lose out. I don't know how much money they paid him, but I know that he got more guaranteed money than any of those rookies. Isaiah Williams got like $100,000 guarantee. And wow, that may end up turning out, because that kid is different. When you look at a Tom Kennedy or something like that to make the back end of the roster, that's a good, yeah. Oh, that's a good try hard story, But Isaiah Williams, he looks like a guy that could come in and play and take significant snaps, and you got to worry about him. He's got speed. He's got hands. He's got tenacity. Chance Lack says DPJ got to go. Williams and Davis and Fountain have looked better. Oh, man, that is too bad right there. Oh, my God, Aiden. Aiden is in the chat. Make sure you send a happy birthday message to Aiden. It's his 21st birthday. And if anybody's in close proximity, you need to buy this guy a beer. You've earned it, Aiden. You made it through 21 years. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aiden Powell. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Happy birthday, Aiden. Right on. Heck yeah. DPJ. DPJ stat was like 1 for 5 yards. Let's look and see if I can't find DPJ on here. Offensive grades. Let's look at some of these offensive grades for the Lions. Offensive grade. And this is what I like to see. There's a couple of guards on here that, speaking to the offensive line depth. Oh my God, the Lions need to go out and sign other players. It's like, no, we know how to develop players. Jamarco Jones played 29 snaps, an 86 overall PFF grade. Michael Neese, right guard, had a 70.1 total offensive grade, pass blocking grade of 78.4. That's what you want, man. That's what you want. What else we got? Jake Burton, left guard, came in, pass grade 84.2. Coyote Awasika, 80.5 on the offensive line. This is not the starters. This is the backups dominating. The Lions have a plethora of offensive linemen, and they're probably going to cut a couple guys right here that are probably going to not make it through to practice squads. The Lions had the best offensive line room in the NFL, and it isn't even close. And I will say that by looking at this, because this is the second week in a row. All of these guys, I haven't even heard of half of these guys. I know Awasika. Brian Hudson, center, 81.4 grade, PFF. Giovanni Manu even had an 85.6 grade at pass blocking. Giovanni Manu, he doesn't even know how to play football yet. Kudos to Hank Fraley. Kudos to Hank Fraley and Terrell Williams, the two position coaches. That's, Terrell Williams is the defensive the defensive tackle, defensive lineman coach. And Hank Fraley is the offensive lineman coach. And it seems like these guys are getting the most out of these young players that have to be behind these starters. We ain't even playing our starters. I haven't even seen these guys yet. It's all backup. Jason MC said it was great, just great watching football again, isn't it? It's now, but this is the uncomfortable 2 weeks of the season, because football was gone, right? For the whole, we were on here talking about backup punters and all kinds of crazy stuff, just trying to fill the time before preseason started. And then preseason was here, and everyone's like, yeah, preseason. Oh, it's just the backups. Okay. And now that satisfaction that we had 2 weeks ago just to see football is starting to wear off a little bit. Don't you agree, Jason? It's like now we're all really hungry for the real thing. Now we're just praying that the guys that are on the team don't get injured before the season starts, because we've seen what we need to see. So Corey says Betts gone too. Betts had a sack, man. It's hard. That's hard because Dan Campbell was saying it's production on the field. But there's a guy, Agude. That's a guy I wanted to see. It was Agude. Who the hell is Agude? Comes out of nowhere. Now, I've heard Brad Holmes talking about this guy standing out in practice. And, it's like, here's this defensive lineman. He keeps showing up. You say, okay, well, let's see if he can make this tackle. And then he makes the tackle. Oh, let's see if he can do this. And then he does this. And he keeps showing up and showing up. And then Agude, God, what was his grade? I got to find him up. There you go. Mitchell Agude. 62.7, 74.9 tackling. Oh, and that's 78.6 in coverage. He had tackles for loss I mean, he looked like he was pushing the pocket against the Kansas City starters. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And when you say Betts is gone, if Betts is gone, it's because these guys are good. These guys that I hadn't even really heard stepping up, making defensive linemen. You know, Mitchell Agude. They consider him a left outside linebacker, but he can rush the passer too. So that's good. It's good to see a great game out of Josh Paschal and see another good performance out of Broderick Martin. You know, everybody had already sold this guy out, and it's awesome. Paul Jones, Packard scores 2 points. They didn't even deserve those 2 points, Paul. If you watch the safety, it was an obvious face mask that they missed. They should have called that. Lions 15-2 with a New Orleans Super Bowl win. I love to see the overreaction Monday. What is your overreaction? I love this. I love it. Pratt. All right, let's see. Didn't we beat the Packers in Green Bay to keep them from going to the playoffs? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Steve says, LMAO, they played the first string against our backup. Why is that funny? Should I point it? Should I not say that? Should I be? The thing is like, I don't want people to think that it was, our third string against their third string. I mean, and the Bears can say the same thing about last week. Caleb Williams went up against they played Buffalo. They went up against the Buffalo first string. Caleb Williams deserves credit for that. But do you know what your third string wouldn't have done yesterday, Steve? If your third strings would have went up against Patrick Mahomes, he probably would have put up 35. I mean, if you want to laugh at it, that's fine. You're entitled to that. We're allowed to do a little bit of trolling on here. But you can't tell me that you wouldn't be encouraged if your second and third string played up against Patrick Mahomes and held their own. I mean, no worries here. Packers land, just keep downing us. Who's doubting you? Who's doubting the Packers? Here's Packer fan. I got put Steve on blast here because he can take it. Here's Packer fan mentality. You doubters, I can't believe you'd ever doubt the Green Bay Packers. And all I did was read the score off. You got shake, rattle, and rolled right there. Old honky tonk man finisher. Ha, ha, shake, rattle, roll, boom. And you got the finishing move put on you, and you got beat down. So if you're not worried about that, that's fine. But you got beat down. Your backups got beat down. Russell, can't wait to watch your live game commentary. Yeah, this is a funny thing right here. I don't know how this is going to work out, but I see other people doing it, and I'm just like, I'm watching the game. You guys want to watch the game with me? I'm going to start doing this. I don't know what the rules are. I don't think I can actually show parts of the game, but I'll do the commentary. I'll do the commentary on it, and we'll watch this game together. We'll watch the backups go up against the backups, and we'll get all excited. We'll get all fired up. We'll overreact. Yeah, we won 24-23 against the Super Bowl champions. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're on our way. It does sound kind of funny. I can see why Steve would make fun of us if we're going to sit here and get all excited like this. Packer game reminds me of the Tool song 46. 46-2. That's good. That's a good one. I see what you did there. You like that? Colt McCoy retires, so the Packers can't sign him for a backup. Okay. McCoy says there's no way I'm playing for the Packers. I'm retiring. Oh, Corey Patterson. I'm glad the backup O-line showed something. I was worried about them. Didn't look good in the first game. Yeah, they didn't. Our punter kicked the balls 80 yards too. That's good. Well, we have the bionic leg. Jag Fox is still the best punter in the NFL. The Vikings 7th round rookie Levi Drake is a dog. Another great late round find. Okay, right there. I didn't watch that game that closely right there, but if that's a standout right there, be looking out for him. The Minnesota Vikings, Levi Drake, 7th round pick. You can find these defensive linemen later, especially these big dogs that that are just like run stuffing guys. They always get pushed down the board. I mean, the NFL values, skill positions, protecting the blind side, the outside tackles, getting to the quarterback. And a lot of times, like linebackers and interior defensive linemen get thrown down to the bottom, and you can get tremendous value late. Preseason is unwatchable for me. August 31st, the real college football starts, and that's when I'll start watching. Okay. I understand that. But when you're a big nerd like me, broski, and my job is to analyze content, I'm looking for anything. Like we've been like looking at backup kickers from Southwest Mississippi Valley Tech for too long. That when you actually get to, even talking about a third, fourth stringer is like, oh, thank God. It's somebody that's real. It's a guy that might make the team. Corey Patterson says you bring in the regular season after the first quarter it drags. Yeah. Well, luckily the Lions got to go up against the defensive starters for a whole half. So it was a little bit more watchable, but then we got into that second half. And, like I said, I was more impressed with the Lions' first half when they were losing than the second half where they came back and won. One thing that you can say is that Jake Bates is a real deal, because I don't think that the pressure kicks change at all between preseason and the regular season. That was still going into a hostile territory. Last play of the game, he had to kick a 40-yard field goal, and you're hearing the loud noise. It's like, if you want to say the position that is the most like real, it would be the kicker position, because that play is not going to change. They're not going to not put in their starters for the special teams. It's like you're probably getting the most real out of your special teams. In my opinion, tell me if I'm wrong. You can let me know. If I'm way off base on that, go ahead and let me know. But in my opinion, during the preseason, the special teams, I think that you're getting the real look at how good somebody can be, because those are you're trying to get the starters in there. You're trying to look and have guys, making the team. And that's usually the back end of your roster anyway. So you're really getting the best out of your special teamers. In the Zoe podcast, that is right. If you want to watch a good podcast for the Vikings right there, I don't know if you've had Sarah on your podcast yet, but make sure you support her too. Any way that you can for my Viking fans, because this is something that we believe in here, is faith, family, and football. When it comes to the Lions, and we do a little bit of trash talking with some of these other groups, but faith, family, and football, it's in that order. And that way we don't get mad at these our rival fans coming up in here, because we love having a conversation. And we know that some of our good Minnesota Viking fans that come in here, like in the Zoe podcast, that I want to be able to move the people that watch this show that are Minnesota Viking fans over to make sure that you go watch it in the Zoe podcast, because he's gonna be able to tell you a lot more about that 7th round draft pick that you guys got, Levi Drake, and he'll be able to go more in depth, because I'm a Lions guy, so my perspectives are going to be about the Lions. I do study up on the other teams. I'm not completely dumb to what the Bears and the Packers and the Vikings are doing. I know a lot more about the Lions, obviously, because I'm a Lion fan. So shout out in the Zoe podcast. Thanks for watching the program today. Fred says, I'm done making excuses for the other teams. Nobody give the Lions the same excuse for those first string players. Sorry, Steve. I know you don't, but I see it all over Facebook. I gotcha. Like, what we're supposed to do is not celebrate any of our victories according to other fan bases, and whatever. That's okay. They're allowed to do this. But, it's just preseason when you win, right? Or they try to find the bad plays and like focus on that. Hello. Okay, there we go. All right, I apologize. My camera shut down. I had to go with the backup camera. I apologize for that. So Fred says that he's done making excuses. We're allowed to be we're allowed to be excited that our team as second and third strings held up against Patrick Mahomes and their starting offense. Travis Kelce was out there. Their whole 9 was out there. And we had our backups. We get to do that. And we're going to. Go Notre Dame Firing Irish. Steve's an Irish guy. The Fighting Irish. Gosh, I didn't think that they had any fans left. But I guess Steve likes them. I loved watching that game. Wins are so fun, aren't they? In the Zoe podcast, yes. Jason MC, Faith, Family, and Football. Right there. And I hope that you watch the In the Zoe podcast, because I know. And she does, and he does know Sarah. You should get Sarah on your show. Her takes are really good. I mean, she follows her team. She homers up on the team. She's good. She's good like that. You got to be a good homer for your team if you're going to do a podcast. And I would suggest, just like John Macaroon says, it's like doing podcasts and talking football is like the funnest shit that you can do in the world. Like, I think everybody should try it. Like, only a small percentage of people can be really, really successful. That doesn't matter. That don't matter. You should try it, because it's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of cool people. You get to talk some football. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Faith, Family, and Football. Boys in Blue. All right, Chance says that Joseph didn't look too hot yesterday. Looked like he missed some assignments a few times. Yeah, he definitely was the one that gave up the big play to Worthy. I think that he was supposed to zig when he was supposed to zag, and Worthy's way too fast to make any mistakes on. You can't recover. You got to be covering him right out. I want to look at Brandon Joseph. Brandon Joseph wasn't that bad as a tackler. His PFF grade was 78. 0.9. But total defense, he was a 56.3, which isn't very good. Run defense, he was better at 66 flat. But I think that coverage play that he gave up the touchdown on really hurt that grade right there. But the thing is, I'm not going to crucify the kid for, having a bad play. It's like nobody's perfect. Everybody makes a mistake. And outside of that mistake, he was decent. He played, let's look in here. Brandon Joseph. He played 37 snaps. He played real good run defense snaps. So he had 11 good snaps. He had 26 snaps in coverage. And and he wasn't as good in coverage. Got to work on that. You got to make sure that you keep on your assignments. But I feel you on that, Chance. Thanks for the comment. Zo. Do you ever think before you talk? Oh, Steve, tell me what you're talking about. Gilmore, a Minnesota Vikings. Congrats, Zo. Wondering where Stephon Gilmore was going to sign. And I really wanted the Lions to go after Stephon Gilmore until our younger players started stepping up. We have a lot of really good guys that we're going to end up cutting. And I love the Lions cornerback room, but after what the Vikings have been through in this offseason, it's a perfect signing for you guys. It's like to have Stephon Gilmore to come in there, and he gives you a solid DB that you can't put on an island. You're not going to ask him. He ain't that guy anymore. But as far as a guy that knows what he's supposed to do, that plays his zones, that can take advantage of zone, he's your guy. But don't leave him out there on an island. Hopefully you got a different cornerback that's going to be for that. But he's a nice, solid dude that can be, a number 2, number 3 DB and be pretty solid there. But hopefully you don't run into a thing like the Lions did last year with Cameron Sutton, where you hire a guy to come in for $10 million that's supposed to cover the 2s and 3s, and then you lose Emmanuel Mosley again for the season again that you're counting on, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and all of a sudden, you're bumping this guy down the depth chart. You got no more. You trade away Jeff Okudah, then all of a sudden you're sticking Cameron Sutton on an island, and that's not what he is. Like, I don't blame Cameron Sutton for the play as much last year because a lot of Lions fans wanted to run him out of town. If you have him as your third, fourth DB, that's good. Second, third DB. And I think that you could put Stephon Gilmore as a second, third DB, but don't make him your number 1 because he got exposed. As a matter of fact, he got exposed by the Green Bay Packers. Oh, gosh. Steve says, Sarah hates you guys got Gilmore. She didn't want him. Sarah wanted the Lions to get Gilmore. Jefferson could score 4 touchdowns against them. See, that's what I mean. You see, that's exactly what I mean. You don't want you don't want to put him against the number 1s. He's a solid dude to have in a room, though. He's going to help that room, Steve. He's going to help bring along the young DBs. Obviously, they're going to have some young DBs that they're going to have to trot out there. So why not? Why not? I like that. So it's Overreaction Monday. Lions win 24-23. What is your biggest takeaway from the game? That's what we've been hitting up today. Who are the standouts? And gosh, I can't believe that this hour flew by. I don't mind going over. In case you're watching on the Huddle, if you're on the Huddle Sports Network right now, I believe there's a couple people over there. Move on over to the YouTube page, the Villain Report YouTube page, Villain Squad YouTube page, because they're about ready to cut you off here in a minute. They'll be stopping broadcasting, but if you want to go over to the Huddle Sports Network, not Mike and Mike. Ken and Ken is in the morning. Bears content. If you're a Bear fan, Ken and Ken can bore you with all of the Bears stats that nobody wants to hear about as a Lions fan. But he does have very in-depth knowledge on the Bears. And you want to know about your backup punter, you want to know about the guys that are on the back end of your roster, Ken is your guy. I'll admit that. I'm just not going to go there. But welcome all of the people from the Huddle Sports Network. We appreciate you guys letting us broadcast into your spot. And they're going to cut us off here in 3, 2, 1, and there it is. So, welcome over right there. I was looking for my graphic. NFL on Huddle Sports Network, on Roku. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? Join the conversation. Join the conversation. This isn't just a podcast. This isn't just one guy talking a bunch of football smack. We got a page. The page, the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page. We got 52,000 villains on there. People that followed us all the way through to the NFC Championship. And a heartbreaking loss where the Lions stole defeat from the jaws of victory. And we had to live with it. Thank you for following the page. Join us on the journey this year to wherever the Detroit Lions are going to take us. Are they going to take us to a Super Bowl finally? We got the best roster in the NFL, hands down. I'm a homer, so of course I'm going to say, hands down, we have the best roster. But, I mean, even the national media would argue that we have a top 5 roster. And I believe a lot of these players that we have that are going into their second and third year, guys like Brian Brandt, guys like Jack Campbell, even Aiden Hutchinson to a point, Aleem McNeil, Broderick Martin, Levi Onwuzurike. These guys, progression is the biggest point of fear for me as a football fan. Progression. Not the player that you got. A lot of Bear fans would say, well, we got Keenan Allen, look out. Okay, he's a good wide receiver. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that Josh Jacobs is a good running back. I'm not going to deny that Aaron Jones is a good running back when they switch teams. But what scares me more about the Chicago Bears, or what scares me more about the Green Bay Packers, or what scares me more about the Minnesota Vikings is progression. Progression. Jordan Love taking the next step. Another offseason as starting reps, quarterback, that he takes a step. Progression. Chicago Bears, Montez Sweat having a full offseason. Jalen Johnson, full offseason going into another year. The progression. Not Keenan Allen. I'm not scared of Keenan Allen in the first year. I think he could be good. Sometimes the free agents can be good. You know, that's why I don't over-tout guys like DJ Reader for our own team. You know, Carlton Davis. I'm more excited about Brian Branch. He's had a full offseason. He's not coming in for the first time. It's the progression that you guys should fear. If you're watching the Lions and you're Steve and you're a Packer fan, if you're going to fear anything about the Lions, it should be progression. Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. We overhauled the entire secondary. Who knows what the secondary is going to be like, right? Is that your defense? Oh, yeah, you don't know what that secondary is going to be like. But they overhauled the whole thing. You know what I know it's not going to be like? I mean, it was the 29th ranked secondary in the NFL. Some people might argue it was the worst one. So the 5 new guys that got added to that room and the progression, the 5 guys that they added to that room have to be, I mean, the chances of them being better than 29th are a lot better than, or are a lot worse than them progressing and having that secondary be better. I mean, you bring in 4 more talented guys than the most talented guy that you had last year. If you're a Lion fan, you should be optimistic. Amik Robertson looked better than any cornerback that we had last year. I haven't seen Carlton Davis, but they're not playing him. And when you're not playing in preseason, that's actually looks good for you. Carlton Davis, I believe, is better than any cornerback that we had last year. The 2 rookies that we drafted, Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold, I believe, even as rookies, would be better than any other quarterback and cornerbacks that we had last year. Put that all together behind a defensive line, which was mostly Hutchinson, but that was top 10 in the league in pressures. What's going to happen when you have better cornerbacks? Progression. That's what you should fear. Jahmyr Gibbs in his 2nd year. That's what you should fear. Join the conversation. This is the Lion Villain Report. Daily. We do this. Oh, wrong one. This is the Lion Villain. I'll get to that next. Lion Villain Report. Daily. 10 a.m. We talk some Homer. We homer for our Lions a little bit. We're realistic about our Lions, too. We even offer a little bit of trash talk from the other 3 teams in the division. We don't mind that. But join us, 10 a.m. on all of the spots that we are available. And this week, at 12:30, I am going to broadcast the game live from the audio form, and we can spend some time together. Join the Villain Cast. Join the Villain Cast for this game exclusively on YouTube. We're not going to do this on Facebook because I don't know if they're going to, I don't want them to shut my page down. I don't have as many YouTube subscribers. So I'm going to run this experiment on the YouTube page, the Villain Squad YouTube page. Go subscribe to that. I have that in the comments. It's one of the loaded comments that comes on at the beginning of the show. But hop on that YouTube page. And if they shut me down and all of a sudden the page disappears, then you'll know that I got copyright dinged and I'm not allowed to do it. But I've seen a lot of other Lion casters doing it. I love Micro Mike's from Chat Sports. He does a really, really good job. The Crunch Time Sports guy. And we're going to do it. We're going to offer it here. And we want you to go and look at all these live casts. The cool thing about the live casts is you could watch the game at your house and you can have this live cast going on at the same time. You just back your TV up 30 seconds or whatever, wherever I don't know where I'm going to be live to you. And then we just watch the game together. You don't have to, you don't even have to have the sound on. Oh, no. But it'll be fun. My first cast, I think that we're going to do a good job. Mike's not going to be on this one, but Mike is going to be my play-by-play guy, and I'm excited to listen to Mike do play-by-play. And I'm going to put a shout-out to Mike right now because Mike's got the show tonight. He's going to do his off-season overreactions tonight at 7 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to be able to be on the show. I might be able to be on the show. Depends I got a fantasy football draft tonight. But I'd love to have you on there. Maybe I'll even throw Mike an extra guest on there. I might have a surprise guest tonight. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to check it out. But tonight at 7 o'clock, Mike and his bad opinions can meet you and your bad opinions. He gives Lions news updates. He's going to talk about this game. He's going to talk about this 24-23 win. Let's talk about it. Oh, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. Let's do this. It's faith, family, and football, guys. Faith, family, and then football. In that order. We believe that here at the Villain Squad. Because sometimes I feel like the villain is just a misunderstood person. From whatever perspective you're coming from. We're all the villain sometimes. And sometimes it's just misunderstood. We're not all trying to be bad. It's not about being bad. Faith, family, and then football in that order. Use football. Use football to spend time with your family. Don't let football use you. Don't turn into a butt if you lose. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. And I guess that'll be tonight for the Main Event Football Show. Peace and love.
Just to get the win, like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pencil. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth when I move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never to sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity.